And you can see why they are so elusive. Look at that. As he disappears into the shade, and it is an incredibly beautiful afternoon here in South Africa. My name is Brent Leo Smith, and I have my very good friend Brian Djuma on camera with me today. And of course, he's got his four-leafed clover thumb, and the luck is with us. Look at that. We have these incredible leopards. Did I say these? And yes, we do not have but one. We have two of the most elusive creatures in the world, and with a very, very cool story happening behind it. But before I delve deeper into it, because I'm sure there are going to be questions about it, remember, this is 100% live from the middle of the African bush, and you are able to ask us questions by using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I'd love to hear from you. Also, let me know where you are watching from. Now, this is a mating pair of leopards. Not only are we seeing this incredibly elusive cat, but we're seeing two of them, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some action on this safari. Now, this female who we've got in frame at the moment, her name is Karula. And you've learnt a little bit about Kruger. She is the dominant female leopard in this area, and one of the stars of Safari Live, one of the females whose life we follow day in and day out. And the male we started with is Mr. Tingana, the big boy, the big daddy around here. He's a massive leopard, weighing probably about 200 pounds, double the weight of the female. Let's go have a closer look at him. He's just lying through there. And as you can see, these leopards are so habituated to the presence of our game drive vehicles that they let us get incredibly close to them. Hello, Mr. T. And he hasn't even opened his eyes. Now, this is a really interesting scenario, as I was saying to you. Now, we've got Karula, who's mating with Tingana. They've been mating for about 3 days now. And Karula has two 10-month-old cubs, Hosanna and Shongile. Normally, she wouldn't be mating this early. The only reason she would be mating this early is if those cubs were killed or disappeared. Now, however, they have not. And that leads me to Michael's question. Michael would like to know, are Hosanna and Shongile okay? And as far as we know, I've heard Hosanna was seen this morning to the south of us. He seems fine. I've had no word on Shongile. So it really, really baffles us at the moment. There could be multiple reasons. Some people think female leopards will come into a false estrus and start mating with a male if they think that their cubs are under threat. I'm not 100% sure this is the situation. She is getting quite old. Karula is nearly 12 now, so she could be, her hormones might start acting a bit differently. This is probably her last or second to last set of cubs. She might have just lost them for a few days, and maybe she thinks that they are dead, even though they're not. So this is going to be a really interesting thing to watch. At the moment, it's really hot out here. It's about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So not much action happening. But the nice thing about leopards when they're mating is they normally, on average, mate every 10 to 15 minutes. On average, but when it's hot like this, 85 degrees Celsius, you're probably finding a mate once every half an hour. But the wonderful thing about being live, it's completely unpredictable. We cannot script what's going to happen next, so they could get up in the next 10 seconds for all we know. Now, hello Heather, who is in DC. Heather is asking, at what age do leopard cubs normally leave their mother? Now, it is very dependent, Heather, on the specific leopard and on the specific things that are happening around it. But if we take it out as averages, they normally, a female leopard cub will normally leave at around 15 months, between 12 and 15 months, and they will become independent. The amazing thing is the female leopard will actually give away a core part of her territory. Oh, he looked like he was about to hug the branch he was sleeping on, and she'll give away a core part of her territory to her female cub, so she has a much easier start in life. Now, the males will normally hang around a bit longer till they're about 2 years old, and then they'll be chased away by their mother and their father normally. And the reason they're chased away from their home range that they've grown up in is so that they don't end up mating with their sisters. So they can even end up as far as 100 miles away from where they were born. And it's nature making sure that the genetic diversity in these incredible cats stays good. Now, we are going to sit right here. We're not going anywhere. And I'm very, very excited to see what happens next on this drive with these incredible leopards. Now, of course, there's not only leopards out here, and Jamie has got a creature that this particular male leopard is a huge fan of hunting. Okay, look at this. She's initiating the mating process. This is leopard flirting. You see how she positions herself? She flops against him, head rubs him. Now she's lying, positioning herself for mating. Listen to this now. Wasn't that unbelievable? That was incredible. Now that just happened 5 feet from us. Now she's laying on her back, and it's very typical behavior of cats after mating. It's trying to make sure insemination takes place, and isn't that amazing? Now, as you saw, it's actually quite a violent process. Now, the male cat's penis is barbed, and that is another reason it is quite painful. So it's there to help ensure that she becomes pregnant, and that is amazing. That's happened just next to us. This is live from the Kruger National Park, South Africa, 8.5 million acre unfenced wilderness. These are completely wild cats. They are not tame at all. If you were on foot, they would probably run away or get a little bit upset with you. This is nature at its most raw, happening live right in front of you from South Africa. And now, the calm after the storm. Now, the reason he bites the back of her neck during mating is to ensure she can't turn around and... see, she can be a bit grumpy after mating. It's not a very pleasant thing for her, even though instinct completely drives her to do it constantly. Now, as I was saying, so she'll often be snarling like that, and then what she will do is, as he disengages from her, that's where the real pain is, and what happens there is she jumps around and gives him a good whack, and you saw that happen there. Now, the longer they mate for, the less violent that is, but it also just depends. Sometimes it is just very, very, very violent. Oh, she's still grumpy after that. Oh, it looks like she's might be ready to mate again. Now, Joyce in DC is wondering, is it the mother that leaves the cubs or the cubs that leaves the mother? Now, Joyce, that completely depends. Joyce, I am going to answer your question, but she is flirting again. It looks like they're going to mate again. This time they've opted for a bit of privacy. Isn't that incredible? How incredible are those sounds? Absolutely amazing. Now, sorry, Joyce, I was a bit sidetracked from your question there. And there you go, you see she's just still snarling into the ground. Okay, Joyce, I'm back with you. Joyce, it depends on the situation. Normally the female cubs will leave the mom by choice. The male cubs normally have to be pushed out. They don't like leaving their mommies. Female leopards become independent at a much younger age than the males. And, oh, look at that. I think he got a good whack there. It looks like he might be licking a wound. So during the mating process, the males can get a few nicks and scratches. I thought I saw an open wound on his side there. I'll keep a lookout. Now, isn't this absolutely incredible? And can you believe this is happening live from South Africa? So where you are sitting at home in the US enjoying these incredible cats live. Now, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be sticking right with these amazing cats, but we are going to be going into a break quickly. So if you need a cup of coffee or you need to go to the loo, now is the time. Now, she's still snarling at him. Now, even though she initiates most of the mating, she can still be grumpy afterwards. Let's just see what happens here. You can just see that snarl coming through. Okay, remember, this is happening live. We're going to be right here when you get back. I'm not leaving these leopards, so we will see you just after the break. Well, guys, isn't this absolutely amazing? And still, Karula is still grumpy, even though she's initiating the mating. And it is really hot and humid today. It rained this morning quite heavily. So much so that we even had to cancel our rehearsal. Oh, Mr. T, is she giving you a hard time? It is incredible to obviously have all of you with us every day, and I know you guys get just as excited for TV shows as we do. Brian and I were chatting about it, and of course, since it is an advertisement break in theory, we are selling luck today. If you are feeling lucky, you can purchase your luck at the Thumb. There's the four-leafed clover, the Lucky Thumb. And it's definitely worked today, Brian.
It has indeed.
It has indeed. The Lucky Thumb is working very well, and it is incredible. So I found them yesterday during the middle of the day when I was out tracking near Red Dam, and then we followed them for most of yesterday's rehearsal, and then I went back to that area to look for them this morning, and I had their tracks, and then I got the call from Jamie that they were actually on Djuma, and I was following old tracks. But then the rain came, and of course we've got an incredible team. So we've had Fanuti and James and Solly, our trackers, who have been sitting with them all day. Oh, she nearly bit his tail. His tail flicked near her. I thought she was going to bite it for a second. Oh, stretch. Now, I think it's going to calm down a little bit here. They've mated twice in quick succession. And, of course, we don't want to keep you away from James and his new toy. Well, it's not so new toy, but he's definitely mastering the art of Ronald. Oh, Karula, grumpy today. Now, they're on the move. It's got a little bit cooler. Now, what happens when a female leopard is mating with a male, she'll often move 3 or 4 territories over while the male goes on his territorial patrol. And if you guys have just joined us, my name is Brent Leo Smith. I've got my very good friend Brian on camera, and together we are the Killer Bees. And we love to show you killer sightings live from Africa. Let's keep up with these leopards. Now, they've started mating more and more frequently again now, and that's as it gets cooler. So on average over a day, every 15 to 20 minutes they'll mate, but when it's cooler they tend to mate more frequently. So during the heat they haven't been mating as frequently. Now that it's got nice, oh, it's only dropped a couple of degrees, it's still really hot, probably about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. They're out on the move. Now, they have been mating for 3 days, and you can see that little concave section in the belly. And that's telling me that they are quite hungry. Both of them are starting to show it. Oh, it looks like she's coming back to try and mate. I'm going to just move behind a white berry bush. And remember, oh, they're looking for privacy. The hashtag. Oh, listen to that. Wow, amazing. Now remember, if you want to ask questions about these incredible leopards or any of the other amazing African wildlife you've been seeing on your very own privately guided live African safari, use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and we will get back to you. And hopefully these leopards being a bit hungry, they are still mating. You never know what's going to happen. They could hunt. That is the most amazing thing about being on a live safari. We can't script it. We can't predict what's going to happen next. We just follow Africa's animals and let them be the star of the show. Now you can see he might have heard something. He stopped. He's listening. You can even see his ears, how they rotate every little bit. They have incredible hearing, leopards. And it is incredible to see them moving around in the daytime like this. So a lot of people think leopards are almost exclusively nocturnal, and in areas where they've been persecuted by human beings, they become very nocturnal. But in areas where they're protected from poaching and hunting, like where we are now, they actually can be very active during the day, even though they do prefer generally to hunt at night, as they have a slight advantage. Their prey species don't have as good a night vision as they do. Now we're with these wonderful, amazing big cats, but there are some incredible other creatures here, and it is summer. We've had incredible rains over the last few days, and summer in the African bushveld means babies, babies, babies. And Jamie has got some very fluffy, funny-looking babies to show you. These leopards are still on the move. They've, thankfully for us, come out of the thickets, and they actually look like they're going to walk down a road. And this is a normal territorial march for both of these cats. So there she goes. And as I said, they are both looking quite hungry, and all predators are opportunists. So if they happen to come across an unsuspecting warthog or impala that hasn't heard the cacophony made by their mating, it could be some excitement yet. Okay, I need to try and keep up with them. So while we do that, now, I've been in the African bush for the majority of my life. I've lived in Big 5 game country. Hold on, Brian. Oop, there we go. Jump over that log. Since I was 5 years old, my first memory is of elephants. But I've seen leopards mate many, many times, and I still get absolutely delirious with excitement every time I get to follow one of these incredible creatures, and being able to share it with you makes it just that much more special. And I've got a really quite a funny story about mating leopards. My mom wouldn't be too happy that I told it though. So we lived in northern Botswana for many years in the Okavango Delta, and while we were building the safari lodge, we had our tents, and we didn't have proper bathrooms on our tents yet, so we used to just brush our teeth in the dark outside. And the one night we were there with my mom, brushing her teeth with my little brother. My dad was looking after the guests in the safari lodge, brushing, and then all of a sudden that noise happened in the bush about 20 meters from us. And I think I was about 12 or 13 years old at the time. My mother basically grabbed my brother and I by the scruffs of the neck and basically dragged us back into the tent. And me complaining, Mom, I want to see the leopards. Mom, I want to see the leopards. But anyway, my mother has had quite a life having to deal with the three men who are all bushmen in her family. Here we go. Let's keep up with him. Let's get a bit closer. Now, she's walking parallel to him, and I'm really hoping that they converge. There's a little water hole right here, so they might stop for a drink. Hi, Alicia, who's in Washington, D.C. Alicia is asking, don't they hunt when they're mating? Generally not, Alicia. Now, you've heard this incredible noise that they're making, and that sort of lets everything else know that there's leopards around. But they are opportunists. If something is not paying attention, stumbles into them, they definitely will hunt. All predators will take an easy meal if they get the opportunity to. Now, you've just heard Alicia ask a question. If you want to ask a question, remember the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. Oh, I think they're going to mate again. Let me just... There we go. She's going right out in the open, just like we were hoping for. Now just watch how he jumps. Hopefully he's going to do a spectacular jump this time. There we go. See that? Get away from those flying claws of the female. Now, we can't really see it now, but there she is, lying on her back afterwards, trying to make sure insemination takes place. Now, as I said, quite often, the male can get quite badly injured during these love affairs. So it's not really a major injury, though. Normally some nicks and scratches, and a lot of these big cats, and just in their day-to-day hunting, they get injured quite badly. So what is often considered a really bad injury for a human being is nothing to a big cat. Now, there's a voyeur watching the leopards. Brian, if we go up to that tree, there we go. There we go. There's our voyeur, the yellow-billed hornbill. He was watching the leopards. Didn't look too perturbed. He knows he's quite safe up there in the tree. There we go. And sometimes referred to as the flying banana, and for obvious reasons, that massive yellow beak. Well, off he goes. And Mr. Tingana has not even noticed, and he's heading on back towards the east. And Karula, oh, she stood on a thorn. Oh, she's got it out. So even the big cats stand on thorns. So they are adept at taking it out. Now, these are obviously some of the most incredibly powerful and ferocious big cats out here, second only to the lion. But there are lots of things that might bite you when you're not watching carefully. And the incredible Steph Winterbo on foot has found something that might put a little shiver in your spine. Yeah, well, we're still with the leopards as they are moving east. There's a lovely little river system in the middle. And there we go. It looks like he's going to scent mark. Marking his territory. This is one of Tingana's favorite routes through Djuma. We often find his tracks through here. Now, I'm going to see if there's an opportunity to actually get up ahead of them in the next little segment. There's a little road around. This is absolutely gorgeous light at the moment. We've got this magnificent sky off to the south of us, a monster thunderstorm building, and you can see all the cumulus clouds getting bigger and bigger and fluffier, like marshmallows or candy floss. What do you think, Brian? A mixture of marshmallows. That sounds quite delicious. A mixture of marshmallow and candy floss. If you would like a mixture of marshmallow and candy floss, of course, the only person who can provide it is the four-leafed clover thumb. So since we are in an advertisement break, marshmallow, candy floss, cloud, mixture, four-leaf clover thumb. That's the spot to get it. Oh, well, my plans to go around him have been thwarted because he's laying down in the road, but I'm going to go around him by not using the road. Okay, we're going to get round. Oh, it looks like Karula's coming to mate again. Sorry, Brian, I know it's a bit of an awkward angle. How's that? That's good. There we go. Getting slightly less and less aggressive. Now, I have seen a fresh cut on Tingana's right-hand leg that I'm pretty sure is from his bout of mating with Queen Karula. It looks like he's almost hoping that there's going to be a scrub here or a baby Inyala in that thicket. Look at that, he just passed right underneath Brian. That was no more than half a foot from Brian. Isn't that amazing? Now, they're still on the move, still mating as they move. There is the Queen of Djuma, Karula. Now she's up. She's going to follow him. Isn't this incredible? We're bringing you this live from South Africa. This is happening at the exact same time. We are watching it right now. Isn't this absolutely amazing? Who would have thought technology would be able to bring you the absolutely incredible African creatures from the other side of the world? Okay, they're on the move now. I'm going to keep following them. Oh, we can hear some guinea fowls alarm calling. So alarm calling is what most animals do when they see a predator. So if an impala will snort. Birds will have different first chirps. And there we go. Let's have a quick look at them. They've spotted the leopards. And they're a bit upset about the leopards being around. Let's see if they do that alarm call again. There we go. Well, that one's stopping for a snack. Don't you know there's some cats around? Very strange birds. A little bit bigger than a hen. Brian, can you see those leopards? Just. Have they lain down again? Let's just try reposition. Say when, Brian? Right behind this stump here. So, oh, there we go. There she is moving. Coming up this way. Looks like they might be a little bit mating again. Well, Natalie in DC is wondering, what do males do to attract the attention of females? Well, they just be the big dominant male. And what that means is they control the territory, keep it safe from other males, and they want to hold that territory for a long time. So then the females feel safe to bring up babies. And we are about to go to another break, but remember, we're going to be right here with these leopards. So rush off, grab a drink, and come right back for the rest of Safari Live. Brian, I think you're going to get massive orders for the four-leaf clover thumb because the luck has just been incredible today. It has indeed. We're going to try reposition now. Hopefully they don't go too much further in here because this is a really thick area. Oh, watch out for the jumping sticks, Brian. Isn't it wonderful to see these leopards surrounded by greenery after this long drought we've had? Now, as I was saying, you can see there's a bit of the sun's sort of disappearing. There is a massive storm brewing to the south of us, and there's even a big one brewing to the east, but that massive storm is starting to throw some cover over us. Look at that. It's getting quite dark and ominous down there in the south. And then off to the east, a bit further away, but there's a wonderful, there we go, the fluffy cumulus clouds starting to angle in the distance, that pure white. Now, the winds inside those clouds are capable of ripping the wings off a jumbo jet. So if you're a jumbo jet pilot, I suggest flying around them. But we're going to stick with what we know, which is not flying jumbo jets, and it's leopards. And it is a really, really fascinating thing, having Karula mate. Now, there's lots of different theories about why. Some people have pondered the theory that she could be mating to protect the cubs from Tingana. Now, I've seen Tingana in sightings with those cubs. I mean, he growls at them a bit, but he's never showed any sign that he would kill them. There is a possibility, because Karula's getting older, that her hormones might be playing up a little bit. That is a possibility. So her estrous cycle might have come earlier. There is the possibility that she's been separated for long enough that she thinks she might have lost the cubs, but I think that's unlikely. I think this just might be a funny Easter cycle. It's going to be really fascinating to see if she goes back towards the cubs once she has finished mating. Now, unfortunately for us, they are south of our boundary, so we're unable to really see what's going on. We just get snippets of information from the other guides. Oh, bite that fly, Karula. Now, I noticed something a bit earlier. It's difficult to see now. It looked like she might have broken a canine. And I was trying to remember if I'd seen her with a broken canine before, but I think it was bottom left, if I remember correctly. I mean, but for a leopard of her age, she looks spectacular. I mean, her ears aren't too tattered, and she's only got a slight break on that bottom left canine, just the tip. She is in incredibly great condition, considering how old she is. Now, with Hosanna and Shangile, I have heard of leopard cubs becoming independent at 9 months old. So it's not impossible that they can survive from there. It just does make life a little bit more difficult for them. Quite peaceful now. Lots of birds calling. We've got woodlands, kingfisher, magpie, shrikes, rattling testiculars, tawny flanked prinias. Some arrow-marked babblers in the distance. Every day I'm lucky enough to go out into the African bush and follow these incredible animals. It is truly a very special privilege, and one of the few people in the world who really truly gets to do what they love. We're still with these incredible leopards. They've stopped in a beautiful little open glade. There seems to be a little bit of calm now, but as we've seen with these mating leopards, that changes in a matter of minutes. So we've got to keep an eye on the female. She's initiating. Remember, this is live from the African bush, and it is so exciting to be able to share this with you all. And I'm watching very carefully what they're up to over my shoulder. And remember that we've got Jamie who's out there, and if I remember correctly, she's with Dwarf Mongoose. We've got Steph on foot, James in the tent, and you might have noticed another safari vehicle with me. Now, there are other safari lodges here, and they are also enjoying this incredible leopard sighting with us. So we're very, very lucky. We had them to ourselves. There we go. She's up again. Well, sorry about disappearing there. I'm not sure exactly what happened. The leopards are still lying in that wonderful open glade. I've just moved a little bit. I've decided it must be a vulture or a big African bird of prey that stopped our signal from our vehicle to our antenna. We do apologize, but sometimes these things happen. And the amazing thing is we are live in the African bush, but we try to make sure that never happens. But we're sorry it did. But guess what? We're still with the leopards. Remember the hashtag Safari Live. If you want to ask us any questions, and you would have seen a game drive vehicle just behind me. There are other lodges out here, so there are other people enjoying these incredible sightings while they stay in the greater Kruger National Park, an 8.5 million acre unfenced wilderness area for these incredible creatures to live free and without pressure and threats from man. Hi, Jules in DC. Jules is wondering, what is a leopard's gestation period? Jules, all the big cats and even small cats for that matter, have very short gestation periods. It's between 90 and 110 days. And the reason for this is that they have such high mortality rates. And pretty much 50 to 70% of all the little leopard cubs born in this particular area of the Sabi Sands fall prey to various different creatures before they're a year old. Now, strangely enough, the reason a female leopard mates with so many different males and moves up to 4 territories over when she is mating with males is because the biggest killer or known killer of leopard cubs in this part of Africa is other male leopards. Generally, they are what we call dispersal male leopards, not dominant male leopards, and they will be moving, trying to find their own territory. So they could be young, or they could be old, and they could have been displaced out of their territory. So out of the recorded leopard cub mortalities, 70% of those leopard cub mortalities in this area are from other male leopards killing cubs. And it's not unusual for the male leopards to even eat the cubs when they do kill them. Now, this might seem quite harsh to us human beings, but we must remember out here, survival is everything. And the most important thing for all these animals is to get their genetic line passed on. So if a male leopard, new male dominant leopard comes into an area, he kills a female's cubs within 3 or 4 days, sometimes, normally about 2 weeks though, she will come into estrus and she'll start mating again. So he has now made the best possible choice for his genetic line to continue. Now, we're going to sit with these leopards, and if they move anywhere or get up to anything, we will be right here to bring them to you. But Steph seems to be finding all the creatures that might make you feel a little bit nervous if you found them in your home. And we're still with the incredible couple, Tingana and Karula. Such a fascinating story playing out here at the moment, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the future. And I look forward to seeing what's going on. That's the amazing thing about being out in the African bush every day and also being live. I get to learn with you. I get to see things that have never been seen, never been recorded. We are incredibly lucky to be able to share this with all of you and live. So there's no scripting. There's no setting anything up. It happens as it happens. And that is the only way I'd like it. And it has been wonderful having you with us, and we are coming towards the end of our show, but I think you definitely would much rather look at the leopards for a little bit longer than looking at me. So we'll have quite a nice long look at the leopards, and now that they're nice and stationary, you can see those wonderful colorations, those exquisite rosettes. Absolutely beautiful. And you can see, there we go, there's the male, almost probably about 50% bigger than the female, probably weighing also probably about 100 pounds more than Karula. And I think they are coming towards the end of their mating. They are both looking quite hungry. You can see those little concave bellies. Can we see his wound yet, Brian? Yeah, is this the right side? Yes. Well, we can't really see it from that angle, but that tuft of fur there, there's a little gash that he got while mating with the Queen of Djuma. Okay, now we are, as I said, coming to the close of the show. It has been absolutely spectacular having you with us. So from the Killer Bees, it's been killer, and of course the rest of the incredible Safari for a Live crew, and the lucky thumb with the 4-leaf clover. We're going to leave you with the leopards for the last few minutes of show. Our incredible trackers that have been out here all day. And of course, if you've enjoyed this immersion into African wildlife, we will be starting an 8-week series on the 1st of January, coming to you live every Sunday night on Nat Geo Wild, and I can't wait to follow the story of these incredible cats here in the Greater Kruger National Park, South Africa. So from all of us here at Safari Live, we will see you in January.